Hey guys, it's Zach again, and today I wanted to talk about my go-to app for information when I am on the go. That app is, as you see now, is an app called DataDex, and it's on the Google Play Store. I honestly don't know if it's on the iTunes Store, but I use it on my OnePlus 3T running Android. I want to start out by saying I use this app a lot when looking for Pokemon abilities or moves very quickly. The perk of a 3DS and even a Nintendo Switch is that you can play it on the go, and opening and searching Cerebi isn't always the quickest way to find what you're looking for. When that situation comes, I use this app. There are some in-app purchases for the Pro version that come with the new team builder that I will talk about later in this video. I highly suggest that if you are looking at making competitive teams or any kind of competitive battling for Pokemon, this app gives you some extra help, and the Pro upgrade is needed to use the team builder. Also, with the Pro version, you get the dark app of the mode, as you can see with the dark screen in the background. And if I'm using it, I'm using it in dark mode. I love dark mode. So anyways, let's get looking. So the first thing you see is the Dex, which is what you see right in front. So the first and the most important thing is the Dex features. This app has the information you are looking for. You can narrow the Dex down to game, based on generation, types, what gen the Pokemon are from, and even the types of Pokemon. This gives you a good idea of what Pokemon you can use for a certain typing or what Pokemon you can use for certain games. Searching by game and generation is also helpful if you're going back and replaying old games like Pokemon Yellow. You can have the Dex filter to only Pokemon and Pokemon Yellow, and all the information for the Pokemon you choose for that game will be information for Pokemon Yellow. This is really helpful because in some games you have certain moves that may not be in newer games or different stats that you might want to take into account when playing through your game. As you can see, when I filter in only Pokemon Yellow, you see information like Caterpies. When I pull up Caterpie's information and I go to location, I see that Caterpie is from the Viridian Forest, and there are still the typings and the special stat split and abilities, but when it comes to the moves and the location, it'll all be down to Pokemon Yellow. This is important, for example, because if you go to Charizard and Pokemon Yellow and look for the moves and TM and HM, you see that Charizard learns Fly. But if I switch the game version back down to Blue and I go to the TMs and HMs again, Fly's not there. Now this is important because Charizard could not learn Fly until Pokemon Yellow. How I use the Dex that is important to me is egg moves. When I start breeding for competitive Pokemon, I would always start and forget the egg moves. When I start breeding, I go straight to getting the egg moves on the Pokemon I want before I even start breeding for natures, before I even start breeding for IVs. For example, when I started my Whimsicott for my Terracott pair, I wanted Encore and Beat Up on Whimsicott. Both of these are egg moves. So I went to the app and I looked up what egg group Cottony was in. Look up Whimsicott. Whimsicott and Cottony are the same egg type. But just to be certain, we see under more. We see under egg group, it's hard to see because of the way he chose the font for this Pokemon because it's based off their color, but it is a grass and fairy. So the next thing I need to do is I'm going to go to Move Dex, which is another feature in this game that tells you where you can search for moves. So I'm going to Moves and search Encore. And here I get a description and the in-game effect of Encore. And what's important is this little button right here, Pokemon that can learn this move. Now this has this split into two ways. Pokemon that learn it by leveling up and Pokemon that learn it by breeding. The first one I found is my Clefairy that learns Encore by level up. So let's take a look at its egg group. And as you can see there, let's adjust. The egg grouping is fairy, just like my Whimsicott and Cottony. So I know that if I want Encore on my Pokemon, I'm going to go get a Clefairy and breed it with my Cottony to pass on Encore. This is important when you can once again filter in, under the moves, you can filter in generation, type, and category. You can do this for the generations, what generation the move was in, what type are you looking for, and is it status, physical, or special. I know that I use this, and this saves me a lot of clicks when I'm looking up egg types. The dex can also be used as a simple dex to help you complete your collection. There is a check for each Pokemon that you can check it off if you've gotten it or not. And you can also take it down to the silhouettes if you would like to leave that for Pokemon you have not seen yet or Pokemon you have not caught yet. If you're looking for that Pokemon, you can pick the game you're playing in and go find more information about it. All of these choices are found within basically any part of the menu that you're at in the game, where you can switch to the different generations of the games that you're playing. There's also some more information where it will narrow it down by stats, typings, what's the shiny looking like, what's the EV yields, what's the gender ratio, what's the egg group. All this information is very important when you're looking up information and you want to find it quickly. It also shows you what abilities the Pokemon could have if you're searching for. There's other features in this game, such as the move dex, as I've shown, the ability dex, which is basically the move dex for abilities. So if I look at adaptability, I can search a certain ability and see which Pokemon have that ability, and it narrows it down to normal ability or hidden ability. The next one is item dex, which is the same thing, but for items. And the type dex, so you can search certain types and it'll give you the resistances and the weaknesses and normal damage. And the nature dex, which will give you a quick taste of what nature that Pokemon is and how that nature affects the Pokemon. Now, the last feature I want to talk about, and the reason why I decided to make this video, is the team builder. Now, the team builder helps you create teams, and you can also set it up by version. So if you're looking for a reason to make a good black and white competitive team, you can filter your teams to only Pokemon in black and white, or black and white 2, for example. This will show you only moves and Pokemon that can be found in this game. So here you see my two teams. The first team at the bottom is a team that I just kind of threw together for that Terracotta set. And then another one that I wanted to make with an Incineroar in it. If you don't know what an Incineroar is, it's an Incineroar would intimidate. So when I go to this team, I can see my full set of teams. I can go to my Incineroar, for example, and I can choose his ability, moveset, level, nature, item, and I can pick the stats. I really don't do the stats, but you can also leave stats and any notes that you may need. So it's important to fill out all your team's moves, because when we scroll down, we see an average of your team's base stats. So if you're looking for a good Trick Room team, or maybe you need to see some flaws that your team might have stat-wise that you can cover with an EV spread, this is where you would look. The next thing as we go down is type relations. So based on the types of your Pokemon, your team is weak against, strong against, resistant against, and this can show you where you might have a overall lying strength or an overall lying weakness. For example, my team is a little weak against rock and ground types. So next is the move coverage. Now this is where putting your Pokemon's moves come into play. So it looks at my team's move set, and it goes based off of a party. You have super effective damage to cover these types, and it'll tell you how many moves you have to cover those types. So as I can see here, that rock typing is an okay thing to go up against because I have three moves that can do super effective hits against my rock type. I can also see that I don't have coverage for poison or electric. But I do know that my electric is covered by Zapdos with a little resistance, and then my poison is covered by Aegislash that is not affected by poison at all, being a steel type. Granted, once again, this is only available for the Pro version if you choose to get it. So looking into all these features that this app really comes with, I really recommend it. I've tried other apps when first switching over to Android, but this one met all my Pokemon information needs, and it's very clean and an easy to use app. With the addition of Team Builder, it's a no choice buy for the Pro version. Like I said before, the Team Builder is only available in the Pro version, so make sure you upgrade to the Pro if you plan on using it for that. I also want to say that I know there are free websites where you can get this information, but I wanted to focus on the ease that this app gives you of getting information on this game. You're not always going to be playing or sitting next to a laptop. I know I'm not. When I am, I go to Cerebi and Smogon to look up some information, but when I'm on the go, when I'm in my car, when I'm away from a computer, I can jump on this app and it can give me the information that I need. So anyways, that's it for this video. Do you have a favorite Pokemon app? Let me know down in the comments below. And are you an iPhone user? If so, what app are you using? Let me know down in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Anyways, that's all for now. Thanks for watching.